All right. Good morning, everyone. It's a pleasure to be with you this Monday morning as we get ready to start another week. And, I tell you, when I was thinking about the conversation and the discussion that I wanted to have today, one of the things that just kept coming to mind is the impact that, I leave behind, that I have on others, and why that became so important to me probably 10, 11 years ago. And it's just a place that I have worked. It's been, how I've moved in my purpose over those past 10 years because of realizing the impact that some have had on me. And I'm going to talk about that here in just a minute, and realizing that each and every one of us have the ability to do that very same thing of how we impact other people, throughout, impact people that are here, that are around us right now, and potentially impact people long after you're gone. So we're going to talk, that's what a legacy is all about. And legacy is in regards to creating. And before I jump into it, as I'm talking about this, and if you feel comfortable enough to share, what is your purpose? What is the impact that you want to be able to have on others when it's all said and done? And not, it doesn't have to be real estate related. It doesn't have to be, related to one specific thing, just in general. And I'll share with you what that is for me as well. It has nothing to do with real estate. I mean, I do it through real estate, but I also do it through so many other platforms. But I would love to know if you want to share. I'm going to share mine here shortly. But I would love to hear you also share, what is that area that you want to leave an impact and a message that inspires other people that haven't even been born yet. Like I said, that's where legacy is made and legacy is established, is when you have a thinking and a mindset from that perspective. But I want to go back and just to give you an understanding of how powerful legacy, can be, how long after your life that it can live. And you think, again, whether we have a short period of time on this world, whether we have 100+ years that we get, what is that thing that you are going to leave behind that is going to be a message to inspire the next person? But I want you to think about, say, like Julius Caesar. Is there anyone, just raise your hand if you haven't heard of Julius Caesar. All right. Yeah, we all know who Julius Caesar is. We've heard of Confucius. Do you know that Confucius lived over 2,500 years ago? Julius Caesar lived over 2,000 years ago. So, other people that come to mind for me, Leonardo da Vinci. We all know who Leonardo da Vinci is. We know who William Shakespeare is. We have 300 and 400 years when they lived on this earth. But yet and still, we know who they are. We know their bodies of work. We know what they left behind. There are people that are in the arts and, people that are scientists and people that are philosophers that have been impacted by, some of these people and the way that they live. And that for me was, again, when I really opened my eyes to what is it that I'm going to leave behind and who am I leaving it behind for? Because I think, when we think of legacy, in many instances, we think of it from a standpoint of what we leave behind to our children, to our children, our grandchildren, our family that we have closest to us. And I think that is important, but I think that's also thinking of things from a very small perception when there's a whole world that you have the ability to be able to impact. So I told you I was going to share with you what mine is. And mine is really, I want to help everyone that I can, whether I'm here on earth or whether I'm long gone, to realize and understand the greatness inside of them, that they have greatness. See, I think a lot of times we hear about pursuing greatness, chasing greatness, achieving greatness. When you look at greatness from that perspective, that's something that you have to go after. But when you know and understand that greatness is already inside of you, and your job is just to pull back the layers and reveal greatness, it's a different mindset. It's a different way of thinking. Because if I have to pursue something, if I have to go after something, the moment it gets challenging, or if it gets challenging enough, at some point I can say, well, maybe it's just not meant for me. But if it's inside of me and I don't reveal it, I keep it inside and I don't share it with the world, then I look at that as failure, because I had a responsibility to reveal my greatness to the world so that it would impact and inspire other people. Whatever it is, you look at the Tom Brady's of the world, the Michael Jordans, that's considered, from an athletic prowess, that's considered greatness. You look at Prince and Michael Jackson, that's considered greatness. Leonardo da Vinci, who I talked about, from an art perspective, we have entrepreneurs, we have scientists, we have humanitarians that have all revealed their greatness. They didn't achieve it. They revealed what was inside of them and had this huge impact on the world. And it serves as an example for each and every one of us to be able to go out and do those same things. Now, before I want to give you kind of a caveat before I get into talking more about this legacy and this aspect of things. I don't want you to think that, okay, Confucius did something or was a philosopher that did things that has, lived over thousands of years. Leonardo da Vinci is an artist and a scientist that did things that have lived over hundreds of years. And how am I going to do something like that? And I say, how I look at it is I pursue those things like I want to leave that type of legacy behind, but it may not necessarily happen to that standpoint. Maybe I hit, instead of hitting with Leonardo da Vinci, it's probably hundreds and hundreds of generations of people, over 2,500 years, or excuse me, Leonardo is 300. So, it's quite a few generations of years of people that he has impacted. Maybe I get 100 years of impacting people, but maybe I impact the one right person that does something amazing for the entire world. And what I want you to think about, the person that has had the most influence in my life, I never met. As a matter of fact, I was born in 1968. He died in 1970. So I was 2 years old when he passed away, and I was 40 years old when I discovered it. And so it wasn't a family member. It wasn't someone close to me. It wasn't a mentor. It was a person that wrote a book that one book I've read 6 times, and it changed everything in regards to what I thought about life. And that book was Think and Grow Rich, and that person was Napoleon Hill. He also wrote a book called Outwitting the Devil. And I got to tell you, honestly, that particular book has had more influence on me than even Think and Grow Rich. Right now, I'm actually going through Outwitting the Devil yet again because of the powerful message and how it resonates with me. And it puts me in a place of being able to go out and pursue my dreams, even when they seem, very distant, even when they seem very challenging to reach. It still puts me in a place of going out to pursue them. So I use that book as my motivation. This is, again, I consider, even though he's been dead for almost more than 50 years now, he is still a mentor to me. And I go back and read the work that he left behind, the body of work that he left behind, that allows me to go out and pursue the things in life that I'm trying to achieve. And it helps me to, again, pull back those layers and reveal my own greatness as well. So just understanding and it was in that moment of understanding, here it is a man I never met in life, died when I was 2 years old. I didn't discover him until I was 40 years old, but it's had the biggest impact in how I operate on a daily basis. And I want you to think about that for yourself. Who has that impact on you that is sculpturing how you work on a daily basis in your life? And are you in a place right now where you are pursuing things that are going to leave a legacy behind? And, we talked about the title of this is, how you're living in the dash and living beyond the dash. And that dash that we talk about is when you think about, if you look at a tombstone or you go to a funeral, there's always a start date and an end date for all of us. There's one thing that we can't get out of. It's we are all born one day. We will all leave this world one day. And we have the day we were born and the day we pass away. That is on our obituary. That's on our tombstone. And it's that little dash that's in the middle between the two. That's where life is. That's what it's all about. What the purpose was during those 2 days. What did we do with that time that we had? And more importantly, what did we do with that time, as small as it is? And I like to point out the fact that again, that dash is small. It's a blip on the radar when you think about it. Like I said, Confucius lived 2,500 years ago. Julius Caesar, 2,000 years ago. And we're expected to maybe get, 80, maybe 100 years of life. Our time here is a blip on the radar. So that little small dash serves as a great analogy of understanding. While it's small, we can do some amazing things and we can impact a lot of people in that short period of time. I was looking up, I think it was Leonardo da Vinci, if I'm not mistaken, where there's either him or William Shakespeare died at the age of 52 years of age. And when you think about that for a second, that's a very short, especially nowadays, that's a short period of time. But the body of work that was left behind shows you that, in that short period of time, he did some amazing things that impacted a lot of people, and it's been influential to a lot of people. So understanding that while that dash is a very short period of time, we have the opportunity to do some amazing things. And if we use it from a sense of being able to leave it behind where it touches and inspires others, then your life, in essence, that's how your legacy lives on. Your life lives on through that legacy. Like I said, for Napoleon Hill, I mean, I can't tell you how many videos I've watched of him. When I can hear him speaking on a recording that someone else may be playing, and I know it's him because I know the voice so well. And when I hear someone say something, I will ask them where they got that. And I know it's from Think and Grow Rich. I know it's from Outwitting the Devil because I understand his thinking and his mentality because I have studied him so much. But when you think about that from the standpoint of here's a man that has been gone for 50 plus years, and I, have studied him to a point where his legacy continues to live on. And if you know anything about Think and Grow Rich, you know that it's called the Bible of business. Most entrepreneurs that are multimillionaires will tell you they've read that book more than 7 times. And it was a key source to helping them to create the success that they had. So once again, this is when we're talking about legacy and what you leave behind. These are just great examples of what that looks like for us to be able to do that. So, no one has left anything in the chat just yet, but like I said, I shared with you, what it is that's important to me, my purpose and legacy, to be able to touch others and help them realize the greatness within. So much to the point, I mean, I wrote a book called Ignite Your Greatness, and it's like ignite your greatness. I'm telling you right in the title that it's inside of you. And it's all up to you to set yourself on fire, and the world will come see you burn. And when you understand from that perspective of living in your own greatness, it changes the way you go about doing things in life and how you do things. I see, Octavia, you listening to the audio. That's great. If you didn't hear, I also mentioned Outwitting the Devil. That's another one that you can listen to on audio, also by Napoleon Hill. Very powerful book. But if any of you are, open to sharing, where your purpose is and you're working in that purpose, I would love to hear, that in the chat as well. But before we jump off, I want to touch on a couple of things, in regards to, when I say, okay, yeah, I would love to live. Someone says, I love to live in my legacy, but I don't even know what it looks like to pursue having this type of legacy or to have this purpose. And I can tell you, it took me till 40 years old to even open my eyes to the thinking of legacy. When I thought of like the Martin Luther Kings of the world and, just the different people that have had significant impacts on our culture and on our nations. And Mahatma Gandhi is another one that comes to mind. I always thought that, again, that was, for the chosen few, and not realizing that each and every one of us were put here with a purpose. But a big part of it is for us to find out what it is. And it may not necessarily be to change the world. It may be to have a smaller impact. Maybe it's not billions of people that you impact or millions of people that you impact, but maybe it's thousands that you impact. But maybe one of those in those thousands is the one that needed to get the spark from you to light the fire within them to go out and do something amazing. And so I work from a place of I want to touch and impact and inspire and empower as many people as I possibly can, and in as many ways as I possibly can. So that's why, again, in my real estate organization, I'm looking to impact and inspire. With my clients that have never owned a home, I'm looking to impact and inspire. When I'm on speaking engagements and doing personal development tours, I'm looking to impact and inspire. When I'm working in the community, I'm looking to impact and inspire. So I don't know where that person that needs my message the most may be at. So I try to put myself in many places as I possibly can. So let's talk about, I'm just give you kind of three, I think, key elements to being able to live in that place of building and establishing and creating legacy. So the first one, I would always say it's impact over intentions. And when you're building a legacy, it has to be coming from a place that you want to have an impact on other people. You want to create something that touches the spirit of other people. And again, I keep going back to it, lighting the fire inside of someone else. I always use the analogy of a candle. If this room was pitch black and it was completely dark, and I had one candle, I would get a little light in this room. But if there were other people in the room with me that were holding a candle, I can light their wick with my candle. I still keep my flame. I don't lose any of my flame, but I can light their wick as well and get a little bit more light. And I light another one and get a little bit more light, and another one and another one and another one. And soon enough, if I light enough candles in the room, the whole room will glow. And that's what we're talking about, is what I have inside of me. Sharing it, keeping it inside does no one any good, but sharing it with others, touching other people, inspiring other people, and letting their light shine. Guess what? They can take their candle and light someone else's. and we can all be in light instead of in darkness. And I can tell you, there's a lot of times these days where we're right on the edge of darkness in many different situations. Just from a world stage, on a national stage. There's people around me that have taken their own lives, that were in darkness. And honestly, it's one of those things for me, man, I wish I would have known what they were going through. I wish I could have been there. And that's, once again, a motivating factor of wanting to be able to inspire and touch other people. So again, impact over intention. The second element is investing in people. And I think that this was, when I started with EXP, prior to getting into real estate 20 some odd years ago, I was a real estate investor. I invested in real estate. I've invested in the stock market. I've invested in businesses. I've invested in different areas to create revenue. What I love doing now is investing in people, and not necessarily, while it does create revenue, there's something more important that it also creates for me. It creates a sense of fulfillment, where I can pour what I know and what I have to give. I can pour that into other people, and I see them utilize whatever the suggestions, whatever the training or the studying or whatever I'm giving them, they apply it and they have success with it, and they're able to then take it to other people. That's the investing that I appreciate more so now than the monetary aspect. The monetary piece is kind of a requirement of life. It's something that we need, but to have that fulfillment of knowing that you are touching other people, you can't even put a price tag on that. So, again, being able to invest in other people has always been an important aspect of, my being and my purpose. And it continues to be a part of the direction that, I'm going in life. And right now I just have the ability to be able to do that through real estate, but I take those opportunities when they come up to be able to do those in other avenues as well. And then the third element that I want to talk about is live with authenticity and integrity. And what I mean by that is, again, I can tell you, I see people, motivational speakers and, people that are online, that whether it's a performance, whether it's for the money, whether it's, for the fame, sometimes it's in question for me. And so for me, it's very important that what I'm doing has nothing to do with me, but everything to do with how I can serve that person, how I can impact that particular person, because the only thing that I'm trying to get is that sense of fulfillment out of it. So being authentic in your actions, being authentic in your reasons why you want to help people to pursue the things in life that they're after, and coming from a place of integrity. I often say that, the one thing that no one can take away from you, you have only you have the ability to destroy your own integrity. And once that is destroyed, you can spend years of building it, and you can do one thing that affects your integrity, one bad thing that affects your integrity potentially for a lifetime. So my integrity is always on guard, and it's always that thing that I'm measuring is, when I'm making a decision on something, does this affect my integrity to, whatever the case may be, whether it's to business, whether it's to a relationship, whatever the case may be, my integrity, I feel, has to always be the thing that I'm measuring. Is this the right thing to do? And when you can put those three elements together, again, impact over intention, investing in other people, and live with authenticity and integrity, when you put those three things together and you're working in that purpose, it makes it so much easier to move, in a place of just helping more people. And again, you're high. I like to say, like when we look at drugs and things of that nature, my drug is that feeling of fulfillment of seeing someone win, in their life. There's a lady that's a part of our organization here in Denver with EXP and the Super Agents Collaborative, where she was number 8 in Colorado. It just came out over the weekend, and she was number 8 in production for the month of July. And I remember when we first started talking about coming over here, she was nervous about it because she was with a company that was feeding her leads. But they were feeding her enough leads to do, roughly 3-4 million a year. Since she's been here, she's done 5 million. She was just shy of 10 million last year. She's going to, blow right through 10 million this year, probably pursuing, 12 to 15 million in sales. And there's no leads. She's learned a system that we use to be able to build her business through spear marketing. And that is a sense of fulfillment for me because I know where she was at and I know where her thinking was at. And it was scary for her to walk away from someone that was just feeding her leads versus now being in a position where she has business coming left and right. I mean, I think she started in the luxury division right at the first of the year. And she's done so many different luxury deals in that short period of time. It's just kind of advanced her business. And she's tapped into strong spear bases within her own, database in essence. So that is that thing. That's the thing that I chase, is that sense of fulfillment. I know there's people on here right now that have recently joined us. Zoe, who just recently closed her first deal, and just joined us in May, first part of June, and closed her first deal, just within, I think it was in the month of July. Just doing amazing things. And, we have Octavia and Jessica that just recently joined us that already know what's coming for them, because I see the drive in them, I see the desire in them for succeeding. And I know, again, that I'm going to pour into them to give them what they need to be able to be successful. So it's just that having that type of mindset will help to create that legacy and aspect of what you're looking to have in your life. So let me see. I think let me just kind of see. I feel called to bring my family closer. I really want to strengthen my family bond. I feel called to serve 100 families, helping them to build wealth and legacy through real estate investing. So see, that within itself, and that's kind of a focus of real estate, but there's multiple things. You have family, you have the families of people you don't even know yet that you want to impact, and building wealth and building a legacy within their own families. All of those pieces, hold those thoughts, Octavia, very close to you. Think about those. That should be the first thing you think about in the morning. One of the things that I do is, and we're going to close this out here in just a second, is the very first thing I do in the morning is I say, thank you. Thank you, God, for allowing me to wake up today. And me and God have a deal. I told him that every day on this earth that I'm given, I will pursue what it is that are my goals, my dreams, to impact other people. And his only part of the deal is giving me the next day. And when I wake up the next day, he kept his part of the deal. So it's up to me to now do my part for the day. And so that is really how I start my morning, of the gratitude, and then also remembering what it is that I'm supposed to be doing and working in that place on a daily basis. Sometimes it's a big, the whole day may be offered to doing that. Sometimes there may be bits and pieces throughout the course of that day. But nonetheless, that's, just a driving force for me. So keep that close to what you are doing, Octavia. And like I said, when you give me your goals, I attach myself to your goals. So I appreciate you sharing that. All right, everyone. If you didn't put anything in the chat, I still ask for you to do this for yourself. It's just write it down. Have an understanding of what it is. What's your purpose? What is it that you're here for? What is it that before you leave this world, you need to be able to have this impact? And whether, like I said, whether it's on family, whether it's on the world, whatever the case may be, just start figuring that out. I was probably 45. So I started my personal development training at 40. I didn't figure things out till I was 45. So it doesn't matter if you're in your 50s and you haven't figured it out, but you got to get in a place where you at least start thinking about those things. And once you figure it out, work on it relentlessly. All right, ladies and gentlemen, it was great being with you this Monday morning. All right, Jess, you take care. And Lori, Rebecca, you guys have a great rest of your week. Take care.
If you'd like more information or to get connected to the Agent Power Huddle, join our free Facebook group. This call was designed for the agents in our EXP organization, but open to any agent from any brokerage. If you're a guest and you're interested in learning more about EXP or our specific resources within the Agent Collective, reach out to the person who invited you to this call to get more info. Produced by the Agent Collective Media Network.